Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every other week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Joe Dirt.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
Press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Hey, Natalie, how you doing?
I'm cold.
You're cold. We're recording in the dead of winter.
Shiver me timbers.
Shiver me timbers. Joe Dirt came out in 2001 with a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. It's not streaming anywhere. We have to rent it on Amazon. It was written by David Spade and Fred Wolf, and directed by Denny Gordon. The main stars are David Spade, Brittany Daniel, and Dennis Miller. Fun facts, the mullet hairdo was super popular when I was little. Is it coming back, Natalie?
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Joe Dirt's hairstyle.
Why not?
The mullet, it's like long in the front and then it's just like the sides are shaved. There's like a mullet in the back. There's a different type of mullet now.
So it's not even a mullet, it's something else?
Well, it's a mullet, but it's not like long in the back, like super long. It's just longer than
The front?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the sides.
So what do you think, Nat?
I thought it was funny.
Wow. Deep. That's a great commentary. What do you rate it, Nat?
I give it a 3.5 stars.
So this is going to be the 4-second podcast. How was it? Good? 4.5 stars.
No, 3.5.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said 4.5 stars. 3.5 stars. Okay. When I put the movie on, I thought you'd enjoy it, but not that much. 3.5 stars is what I would have guessed. But as I watched it was so good. It was a happy movie. I liked it. I thought Joe Dirt was great.
I thought that the ending was weird. They found his parents, but it was kind of like rushed and like anticlimactic.
I see. Like the whole movie's about him looking for his parents, and when they find him, it's
very rushed.
Yeah.
Why don't we get into the recap?
Okay. Movie begins with Joe Dirt driving a beat-up muscle car to work. He's a janitor at a radio station. He gets teased by everyone for his mullet haircut. A radio producer thinks he looks funny and brings Joe into the studio to talk to shock jock radio DJ Xander Kelly. Xander immediately teases Joe. Xander wants to hear Joe's story. Joe explains that his hair is a wig that is permanently attached to his head. The story begins with 8-year-old Joe at the Grand Canyon. He's playing in the trash can, and when he comes out, his parents are gone.
I don't know why, out of all the hairstyles that they could have had on his head from a child, they chose a mullet.
Because at that time it was popular.
Yeah, but wouldn't you choose a more, simple hairstyle?
Well, I think that wig was supposed to be interchangeable, but then it gets fused to his head. Right? Because it's not really a wig, it's like the top of his head was not there or something like that, remember?
Yeah.
So you picked the coolest hairstyle at the time, and that was a mullet. That looked good. Anyways, after he comes out of the trash can, he looks for his parents, and he doesn't find them. Eventually, he's put in foster care.
He was in a trash can.
In foster care, Joe bounces. That's what's funny. He was just playing in a trash can. There's such trash people that he's playing. In foster care, Joe bounces from home to home, getting treated terribly. Eventually, he ends up in juvenile hall, where he gets bullied as well. He escapes to look for his parents. One night, he sees a shooting star and picks up the meteor. He takes it into town and finds out that it's not a meteor, but a frozen turd. In present times, we see a lot of different people tuning into the Xander show, fascinated by Joe's story. He's going viral. In the story, Joe goes to Silvertown.
You reminded me again of Sleepless in Seattle.
So everything's about Sleepless in Seattle to you?
Yeah, it's the movie is very similar to everything else.
Like what? What part reminded you of Sleepless in Seattle?
Where everyone's on the radio and being like, wow, listen to this guy.
Okay. In the story, Joe goes to Silvertown to steal to get money for food. He gets barked at by a dog named Charlie. Sadly, Charlie has his private part stuck to the frozen porch. He begins to help when Brandy, the dog's owner, comes out. Together they save poor Charlie, and Brandy is very thankful to Joe. She invites him to dinner, but her dad, Don, says nope. Time passes and Brandy and Joe become great friends. They spend all their time together. Robbie, a neighborhood bully, tells Joe to stay away from Brandy, who he likes. But Brandy's clear. She doesn't like Robbie. She's best friends with Joe. Robbie was kind of like the jerky character, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was really no need for him other than to bully Joe more.
Exactly. But, like, he was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. So, Robbie is played by a famous rock star. His name is Kid Rock. You ever heard of Kid Rock?
No.
Kid Rock is a famous rock star / rapper. He was huge maybe during this time. Probably just before this time or this time. Like a big, super famous rock star. And he was in the movie. He did pretty good, though. Yeah, as the jerk, you know.
Yeah.
Kid Rock. One day, Don comes home drunk and takes Charlie hunting. Don gets stuck on a railroad track and tells Charlie to get help. Charlie instead goes and mates with a dog. Inappropriate! When Don gets home, he's missing a leg and he shoots Charlie. He kills poor Charlie.
I know, that's messed up.
Yeah, well, Charlie didn't. Charlie went off to get help, but he didn't go off to get help.
That's true.
That's kind of a joke. But he's terrible to Charlie, so.
Yeah, and it's like kind of your fault.
Yeah, you're the one who got stuck in the railroad track.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Joe decides to leave and go find his parents. He cannot recognize that Brandy loves him. He goes to a new city and meets a lady who advises him to hire a sketch artist to find his parents. He needs $360 to pay for one. Just then a storm comes and he gets in a hot air balloon and is flown all the way to North Dakota. In North Dakota, Joe gets a job at an oil rig for $360 a week. He thinks it's a sign. He's awful at the job and gets fired immediately. He fights a group of bullies and takes off with his one and only paycheck. He gets the sketch, but it doesn't work. So he did a sketch that looked like Father Time, right?
Yeah.
Joe then gets the idea of using Native American tracker to help find his parents. He meets up with Kicking Wing, who's paying for veterinarian school by selling fireworks. Joe tells him his selection is awful and needs to get better fireworks. Then he finds a rocket that he thinks is an atom bomb. Joe then gets the idea to use the bomb to get the Grand Canyon Touring Company to give him a list of all the people who were there the day he was lost. He's thinking that maybe someone has a picture of him and his family. Joe holds the whole place hostage with a rocket attached to his back. It all goes sideways when the cop comes and confirms what he really has is a septic tank. You know what a septic tank is, right?
No.
So in some houses, they don't have proper plumbing that doesn't connect to the sewage system.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a gigantic pool underneath their house where all their waste goes to. And then the septic tank has people come and empty out septic tanks.
Oh, okay.
And so this was a vessel that holds pee and poo for something. It was kind of small for a septic tank, but
yeah,
it looked like a rocket. Anyway,
why is he always finding like poop from the sky?
A lot of poop. Everything has to do with him. Poop. He's finding poop everywhere, right? Like his whole life is doing that. Anyway, he holds everybody hostage. He finds out it's a septic tank. Then he gets poop all over himself. Luckily, they did not press charges, and he ends up getting the list of all the tourists that day. In the real world, Joe has gone viral, and people love him everywhere. He becomes popular in every household. Everybody's listening to him. Think about it. He's a really happy guy. Even this story is kind of sad and a lot of like sadness in it. He's always happy about it.
But the story is also like, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. So it would also be like, that would be another feature of wanting to listen to what he has to say.
True.
Because of his crazy story, like, oh, what's going to happen next? How did he all of a sudden become a plumber?
Yeah. Joe leaves Kicking Wing and joins a traveling carnival to visit people on his list. Then he meets Jill, who he finds attractive. He believes that she's his sister, and they become intimate. Inappropriate! Times two. That's funny. And then he like kind of builds it up. Like he says he thinks he's his sister, and then he doesn't care. He still gets inappropriate with her. I mean, it's pretty disgusting. He wants to make love to his sister, so I don't know. And then he said, oh, I'm just joking. And then now he became worldwide famous. Yeah. I already thought that was super funny. He was playing a joke. He rides a junker, the same one he's driving at the beginning of the movie, and he takes off to meet people on the list. Joe visits a man from the list and gets invited in. Sadly, it turns out that he's Buffalo Bob, the serial killer. He gets put into a pit. Before he's killed, the cops come and free him. At Buffalo Bob's house, Joe finds a picture of his parents standing by their old car with Louisiana plates. Now he knows he has to go to Louisiana.
I mean, they could have moved, but that's okay.
Well, they did move, right? We know they end up moving.
Yeah.
That's a starting point. Joe goes to Louisiana and gets a job as a janitor at the elementary school. There he meets Clem, who happens to be an old mob boss in witness protection. Clem and Joe become friends. While Joe is cleaning up vomit, a student accidentally makes mustard gas in his chemistry class. Clem saves everyone but gives Joe the credit. I love Clem. I think he's my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. I love the actor, Christopher Walken. He also did the dad in Blast from the Past.
Uh-huh.
He's so funny. The way he talks, I think he's funny.
And he like genuinely saved all those people even though he's like a murderer.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's kind of funny. Joe gets attention at a news conference and admits that it was not him that saved the kids, but it was Clem. And he even shows a picture of him. Unfortunately, the mob sees the picture and that night attack Clem at his house. Everyone dies and Joe feels bad. Then Clem tells him that he's not really dead, but going into witness protection again. He then tells Joe to go to the dealer and see who sells his parents' car, because maybe that'll give him a new clue.
I guess if it would be pretty helpful to have like a rare car.
Right.
Because like there's only so many of them that like there has to be a person.
Right. Joe goes to the dealer and gets a list of everyone who bought the car in Louisiana. It's only 73 people. So that's not that big a list if you're looking for your parents, right?
Yeah.
Then Joe has an epiphany and remembers his parents' last name.
Although I don't understand why he couldn't just read the list and then see like, oh wait, I remember that last name.
Yeah, I think that would have helped him.
Yeah, but he had to like remember the name. I thought that was like, dude, you could just read the list of people.
It would have been a better there as opposed to him just coming up with it on his own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the sad thing is they didn't name Joe their last name.
Yeah.
They named him Dirt for his last name as opposed to their last name, which was Nunamaker, which I don't even know what that means. Their address is on the list, and he goes to his childhood home, but it's abandoned. His parents are gone. Then Joe decides to go back to Brandy, and realizes that's home after all. Joe gets to Silvertown, and Bobby reads him a note from Brandy. It says she found his parents in California and didn't tell him because she wants him to stay away.
I thought this was not funny, but the fact that it took him so long to read the letter, I was like, dang, this guy could not, this guy could not read any slower.
You know, I thought the letter was a fake, like he made it, but then him not being able to read it makes me think he didn't write it.
Yeah.
Someone else wrote it because he's not able. I mean, you think he'd be able to read his own writing, but if he's unable to read, maybe not.
Yeah. But I mean, he's able to read. He reads the whole letter.
Yeah. But I'm saying like maybe he can't write very well. Anyway, Joe believes it and he leaves and we catch up to the present day. So that's where we are right now. So we get to the present day. But why doesn't he just go talk to Brandy? You know Robbie hates him. You know Robbie's been trying to get rid of Joe his whole life. Like, why not wait to see Brandy and go, hey, what do you mean you found my parents? You know, like confront her.
Yeah.
He never even did. And he has her number. He calls her.
But she always leaves him on the
voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, why not call and see if you can get a call back? Yeah, the only time they call Brandy and it picks up is when Xander calls.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Well, because that's not from Joe Dirt's number.
Well, Joe doesn't have a number. He's been like living everywhere. He's just traveling around. He has no cell phone.
But still.
Yeah. Xander calls Brandy on air and she admits to writing the note. But the reason she didn't tell Joe about his parents is because she found out that they're dead.
But that also doesn't make any sense. Because if you wrote that note, that means you also wrote, I don't want him to be anywhere near me.
He could have ad-libbed that.
Yeah, but
Robbie could have put that in.
But still, she's like saying like, oh yeah, I wrote that note.
Yeah, but he doesn't know every part of the note. He only knows the part where it talks about his parents. Yeah. Although he told the story. He's told it online.
Yeah.
I mean, on air. But she's not listening to it. I mean, it's a radio station. I don't know. It might be like national-wide radio station.
But if she heard the story, then she would have probably called him.
Maybe. Anyways, she tells him to come home, and Joe leaves. He actually doesn't leave to go to her, though. He just leaves. He's upset. Yeah. As Joe leaves the radio station, there's a huge crowd of fans waiting for him outside. He has become a worldwide phenomenon. He's on the cover of magazines, and he has his own book, and he's everywhere. On TRL, Total Request Live, with Carson Daly.
From The
Voice. Carson Daly takes a call, and it's Joe's parents. They are alive. Joe goes to meet them, and they just want to capitalize on his fame. They admit that they abandoned him that day, and Joe leaves hurt and angry.
Like that was rushed.
Yeah, you think that all that was too quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty quick. Like, we meet the parents for like, I don't know, 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. And then, like, you don't worry about them for the rest of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
The other thing is, why did Brandy have to lie? Why did she tell him that they're dead? Just because they're totally awful people and want to not hurt his feelings? But, like, hearing that your parents are dead would make you really sad too, right?
Yeah, that would be, like, just as bad. And you don't have the knowledge of, like, oh, it's okay because they didn't care about me anyways. No, you think that there's a possibility they still care about you and they're dead now.
Well, I don't know. Would it be better for them? You think it'd be always good for you to think that they loved you as opposed to abandon you?
Yeah, probably.
So maybe that's what she was saying. But, like, nobody wants to hear their parents died, even if they were terrible people.
Yeah, I guess so. Unless you killed your parents.
Yeah, I guess. There is that. Joe goes to the top of the bridge to jump off. The media is there. Then Brandy comes and tells him she loves him and wants to marry him. He comes off the bridge but gets tangled up in the bungee cord and knocks his head. Joe wakes up in the hospital and Clem, Kicking Wing, and Brandy are there. He's okay, but has a new wig. Dreadlocked braids, right? They were like braids?
Yeah.
Joe gets into his car. He finally has his family. The end. Robbie comes at the end, but that wasn't even important because Joe leaves happy. He has his family. He has his wife to be. He has his like brother in Kicking Wing and his like best friend in Clem or dad figure in Clem.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. He had another name now, right? Because he was in witness protection somewhere else. So
yeah.
I don't know. The movie is funny, but it was also kind of like happy. It wasn't like just mean. I thought it was kind of an uplifting happy. Because Joe had the saying, keep on keeping on. Kind of like, keep on, keep on. What is it? Keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, just dig it. Like, kind of.
Yeah.
He's trying to find the positive in things, even though his life was kind of cruddy. All right, could this movie still be made today?
Probably.
Okay. There's you don't have any issues with anything in there that was inappropriate?
I do.
All right, let's hear about it then. Maybe we need to have a different title for that. Because you just answer that with yes or no. And you say probably, which is not even a yes or a no. And then you have issues with it. So maybe we should have a different question.
I don't know. But here is the things that are wrong with it.
Okay, so here, what did you find that you would like to change now?
Well, they said the R word, but then again, it was the villains of the story saying the word.
Right.
So if you want to make someone a terrible person, then like...
have them say the R word.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And they also called him like a queer, but then again, they were still the bad people. And then you think like, oh, well, this guy's homophobic because he has such like a like disgusted reaction. But then later on in the story, someone says like he mishears someone and he says like, oh, you like to see naked homos? Yeah, that's cool or whatever. Like he's not like, ew, gross. He's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good. That's cool, man. Whatever you like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, want to go home, right? Because the guy had a really thick accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, okay.
But like, it doesn't seem like he's homophobic, really. He just really doesn't want to be like, he just really doesn't like himself being called gay.
Yeah, like he stands up for it. I don't know, because
so it's like, choose one, man. Like, he's perfectly fine with other people. Like, he doesn't seem homophobic because he's just like chill. He's like, oh, do whatever. I don't care. Like, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I'm not gay. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, his left arm's gay, am I right? Like, he's ready to fight everybody, right? And they always get beat up. So he's ready to fight at all times.
Yeah.
He's like a scrawny dude who gets beat up, though. All right, yeah, I agree. Very defensive about being called gay.
Yeah, but then again, he doesn't seem homophobic.
He does seem like a kind of guy who loves everybody, right?
Yeah, he's just chill. And then the only thing that was like really bad was when he like kind of forces that one girl to take off her shirt. When he's like, I'm going to blow up the city. Now you take off your shirt.
Yeah, okay, I remember that part.
Like, he's supposed to be this, like, happy, nice guy. What is he doing?
That was out of character.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, it was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, it was a 3-second line in, like, a 5-second, because you don't see her, obviously, but you do see her taking off her shirt from the back. And it didn't really make sense other than him trying to take advantage of someone.
Yeah, and that doesn't really seem to fit his character.
No, I agree with you, but it was kind of funny, though. I think that was kind of the whole point, just to be silly. Anything else?
No, not really.
All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
No.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any women that... All right. Let's talk about the Bechdel test. The Bechdel test is a test to check for female representation in movies. There are 3 criteria. Criteria number 1, are there 2 named females?
Yeah, there's a few. There's Brandy,
Brandy, the main character.
his mom,
His mom.
his sister.
His sister. Oh, yeah. Not his sister, but yeah.
No, but his sister also had a name.
You see? Oh, yeah.
The little one, when she's a little
I wonder
girl.
what happened to her, right? Because she's not there at the end of the movie.
No, she probably also got abandoned.
Yeah, probably.
And then the girl he thinks is his sister
Jill.
later.
Yeah.
And then there's a girl at like an alligator farm.
Yeah, Charlene. It was like really out of nowhere, that scene. And actually,
but she shows up at the end when he's like waking up from the hospital.
she ends up with Clem.
Yeah.
I think they end up falling in love. So, yeah.
So there's actually quite a few women in this movie. They're just like scattered about in his like
Throughout
life story.
history. Yeah. Question number 2. Do they talk to each other?
No.
No. I don't think any of them talk to each other at any point, huh?
No.
Because they were all so segmented in different parts of his life. There was only like one woman at a time at any point of his life.
Exactly.
So it does not pass. Yeah. It doesn't seem like the kind of movie that would pass.
No.
No. But you liked it, right?
Yeah.
You liked it okay. 3.5. It was funny. Made you laugh.
Uh-huh.
I know Mom didn't want to watch it, but she ended up watching it with us, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another part that I thought was kind of unnecessary, and it's like a really small part of the movie. After he meets his parents, he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself now, and he like goes to the top of like a bridge and is about to jump, and I'm like, that's not fitting the story.
Yeah, it goes against his
whole philosophy.
Yeah.
Like maybe he would be sad and like go into his room and be like, I hate everything, like I have no purpose. But he's not supposed to like go to the top of a bridge. Like it's not fitting the story. It's just trying to make the movie longer. And
well, there has to be a way that Brandy comes and saves them. Right, like maybe she can meet him right outside of their house or something like that. It's a better way. It doesn't make sense. I don't think he's going to kill himself.
Exactly.
I think it was more for attention than anything. I don't really see Joe jumping.
No, but he also doesn't seem like the person who would like do that for attention.
For attention, yeah. He doesn't really
especially as like an icon for like a happy person who's supposed to like love life no matter what happens.
Yeah, no, you make an excellent point. You're right. It doesn't fit his character at all. Yeah. And maybe it's just they had to figure out a way to connect Brandy and him in some way. Like she saves him, tells him she loves him and wants to marry him.
So yeah, basically I think that they should have thought a little bit harder about that part instead of just like shoving that in there because it was easy.
Yeah. There's a second Joe Dirt, which we just found out yesterday. I never even knew.
Yeah.
It was on our little like recommended movie list. It's not rated.
But it does say 18 plus.
So it'll be weird. Like what kind of movie is... Because the Joe Dirt movie, it's not really a family movie, but it kind of is because the way he is so silly and funny.
Yeah.
So you can watch it with your family. An 18 plus movie means there's probably more nudity or there's probably a lot of curse words and it doesn't really fit him.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe we'll watch it, but not... Well, you won't because you're not 18 yet. Yeah, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. I'm not interested in watching it. I thought the first one was good and I thought I liked the way it ended.
Yeah.
He ended up with a girl. And the other thing is in the movie, he has his haircut back. In the preview that we watched in Joe Dirt 2.
And it's also about like time travel. And I'm like, this is...
But even if he time traveled, why is his hair back to what it was? He had new hair at the end of this movie.
Unless he met himself.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's no scene where you see his new haircut. And it came out 2015, so it came out like 14 years later. Like an afterthought. I think that's probably not a good movie.
Yeah. And they don't know Joe Dirt.
Unless you really like Joe Dirt 2, let us know at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. And then maybe we'll watch it. Well, I'll watch it and then wait till Natalie turns 26, then we'll watch it together. Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app or like our podcast on YouTube.
We put out an episode every Monday.
If you want to see extra podcast content, follow our TikTok @PapiApprovedMovies.
If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
Email us at poppyapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's poppyapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion, and remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, Sophia will be back and we'll be watching Son of a Woman.
And I'll be back in 2 weeks to watch Taken.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye!